Hello, and welcome to the TheKnitGirlls. This is episode 365. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. It's Wednesday, October the 4th. Couldn't see around the microphone. We're late recording this week because life has been happening all over the place.
It has been.
And Laura cares a lot about people, and I pretty much hate people. So most of the time we can find a way to make that work, but this week it's been a challenge.
I've had after school events too. This was the last week for volleyball and football season. So that was Monday night, and then football was last night, but I didn't end up going, which my kids were super upset about, like today, which...
You're not allowed to exist outside of school.
I'm like Miss Nelson is
That's
missing.
the way teachers...
But I'm going tomorrow. It's also homecoming week, so it's been dress up week, and I totally forgot to wear my Care Bear pajamas, so we'll have to do that at a later date.
You lied, and now Sarah is going to cry.
No, Sarah's not going to cry. I'll wear them next week. Well, no, I won't wear them
Maybe Halloween.
Yeah, maybe we'll do them another time. They sell them at Target, a full Union Jack Care Bear suit that I wore to pajama day.
With hood.
With hood, with a Care Bear face on it.
Grumpy Bear.
It is Grumpy Bear. It's very fitting. Be jealous of my buggy. One of my kids had so I bought the men's because I'm tall. I'm almost 6 foot tall, and still they weren't long enough. But oh my gosh, they were warm.
Did they have footies?
They did not have footies.
Oh, okay. Well, at least that, if they were too short, then it didn't stretch you.
No. Although the crotch was almost my knees, so I wore yoga compression shorts and a tank top underneath, because also they zipped from here to here.
Mm-hmm. So you had to get naked to...
I had to get naked to pee, but also I was really worried that there would be some kind of wardrobe malfunction throughout the day, like a kid would walk by and just unzip it or something to mess with me, and that would have been terrible. That's why I wore stuff underneath, which made it even warmer. Also, I didn't want chub rub, since the crotch was to my knees. It's not the most flattering outfit I've ever worn in my life. But one of my kids had the Share Bear one, because I have the men's, so she had the women's. There's kids versions. We had a lot of unicorns. The best one though, I think, was the bunny from Christmas Story, the bunny suit. Someone had one of those as a Union Jack. So that was pretty good. And there was a Grinch one, too. That was pretty good.
I'm surprised your kids have even seen that movie. That movie was old when I was a kid.
Oh, man. When I was in middle school, they made us watch that movie in middle school, and I do not care for it at all.
I mean, it's cute the first, 13 times you watch it. And then after that, you're yeah, you're going to get shot in the eye, whatever.
It's also, I grew up in the...
You'll put your eye out, that's what it is.
Yeah, you'll shoot your eye out. It's kind of risque to show in a middle school.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened. We also watched Lady Hawk in social studies when I was in middle school. I don't know how that happened.
I don't think I've watched that since it came out.
I love Lady Hawk with Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, and we watched it for surf and feudal relationships during the Middle Ages. It was complete BS. The things that you could get away with in the late 80s, early 90s. No, that had to be 90s. I was in middle school in 91 for 6th grade, so it was early 90s. But yeah, craziness. Anyway, it's just been a crazy week.
It is a knitting show.
Sometimes. And we got some bad news about a knitting friend of ours. She had a stroke. Gail, if you've been to SSK Gallery, had a stroke and is now in hospice. So it's just been a rough week. But moving on, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
Go.
Okay. So I just started a little bit ago. The ball winding on this is amazing, by the way. A hat. It is the boba hat from Woolly Wormhead. And the way this looks, it's got a roll brim, and then I'm increasing right now, and then it's not a ribbed, a large rib pattern, a knit 10 purl 2. So it's got the lines of pearls, and I am knitting that out of some hand spun. It's going to be for a friend of ours. hopefully, unless it's like too depressing colors. I don't know. It's kind of neutral. So it's got a light gray to dark gray to black. It's this bright blue at the end. And I'm hoping I get to the... And there's like a navy in there too. I'm hoping I get to the bright blue. I have no idea how many yards this is. It was just old hand spun in the stash. I can tell it's old hand spun. It was chain plied. It's not so even.
Is this the drunk chain plying?
No. I can't even remember what the drunk chain plying... What yarn that was. So what Leslie's referring to is the first time... So the first time I was chain plying... Or was it the first time I was teaching someone else to chain ply? I think I was learning how to chain ply.
I think it was you learning.
From Stacy of Tempted Yarns at Spring Fling. And we had margaritas the size of our heads. And I have no idea what happened to that yarn. None.
Yeah, so learning how to chain ply when intoxicated is probably not something Laura would recommend.
No. Since I can't even remember what the yarn was, probably not.
Although, let me tell you the story of how Laura promised to teach me how to magic loop at Spring Fling number 1, which was 2008.
I taught you how to...
Listen.
No, I don't even remember this. People are going to think I'm an alcoholic, I have a feeling.
This wasn't related to drinking.
Okay.
This was, I'm pretty sure it was Spring Fling number 1, and because I had just started knitting, and so I had magic looped before.
Uh-huh.
So it must have been 2008. And
did I promise you I'd teach you?
You promised me that you would teach me because I was going to knit socks magic loop.
Uh-huh.
And you were like, yeah, I'll show you. It's no problem. Just let me know when you're ready. So I let you know when I was ready, and you like for the next 2 hours you were off at other people's tables.
That does sound like me.
I'm like, I'll just look on the internet. It's fine. It's not like I'm at a convention with other knitters who could tell me how to do it.
I was gonna say you were probably sitting with like Timmy and Sarah and other people who knew how to do it.
It was my first year going, and being social is
it was the first year it existed.
A challenge.
We went the first year.
Yeah, the first 3. Yeah.
Oh man, that was fun.
Anyway, so you're knitting a hat.
I am. It's a woolly worm head hat, and it's super. It's like slouchy, oversized slouchy. So I think it'll be nice and warm. It's got like a pom pom ball at the top. Here, let me pull up the pattern, which I don't know that I'm going to do. Hopefully, nothing will come across my screen while I do this. I really need to turn off notifications when we record. All right.
It's a very odd size proportionally for the little ball.
Yeah. So it looks like that. Sorry for the glare. I'm trying to make it better.
Right
okay.
There.
So it looks like that. And let me see if there's just a picture at the top. There's some better pictures. Yeah, there's not. There's some better pictures on Ravelry, but I think I'm going to leave I think it's a pom-pom. I could actually read, and then I would know things.
So all of the things that we talk about are in our show notes. Our show notes live on our blog page, which is TheKnitGirls.com.
Oh, it's a giant bobble.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a giant bobble. I don't think I'm going to do that.
Yeah, let's not.
Good.
It would be the biggest bobble that ever bobbled.
It would be. Maybe I'll do a pom-pom instead. Maybe I'll get a fur pom-pom for it instead.
You could, if you don't get to the blue for your hand spun, you could use the blue.
Yeah, as a pom-pom?
Yeah.
That'd be cute. That's a good call. So that's what's my first new thing on the needles. I have 2 things that I brought. The Even Star only got 4 rows done on it last week. And it is pretty much the same. The next 24 rows are the same. So I'll bring it.
You're building the cathedral window.
I am. So I'll bring it next time. I'm hoping I'm off Monday, so I really want to get. I want to get 20% knit on it this weekend.
Woof.
I know. Hey, guess what? Every row is a percent.
That's wonderful.
Every row and a half is every row and a half is a percent. So it takes me around an hour and a half to get a percent. So that would be 30 hours.
I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm
it's
commitment.
It is a commitment, and it's commitment of sitting
at
my desk
Not goofing off.
Yeah, that's the problem, is I get on the internet.
Yeah.
But then if I start timing myself on every row, then I don't get on the internet because I'm constantly
then you stress yourself out.
That's true too.
So ulcer or internet?
It's more like high blood pressure. Internet. So that's gonna get some love though on it this week. I want to at least get it to 45%. Would make me happy. And I need to get back on the wagon because I've been bad about it.
Well, this past week you were really chugging to finish your Desert Vista socks.
I was, and to get some other stuff done for the Harry Potter House Cup. So then after the first of the month came, I cast on 2 new things because
that's what you do when you're on a deadline.
That's what you do. I do need to, so when it comes to the Even Star, I think I need some better lighting. So if you would like to go to IKEA this weekend and get breakfast.
I don't have anything planned.
Awesome. Let's plan on that. That sounds amazing. So we're going to go to IKEA this weekend and buy me a light, an LED light. I was looking at them online today. And buy breakfast. $3 American breakfast.
I switched my on-call week so that we can go to Murfreesboro.
Yay.
And the guy that I switched it with, he had on-call over Halloween, and he's like, "Are you sure you want it? Don't you have Halloween parties?" And I'm like, "You're so young and cute."
Aww. Also in November, it turns out that, like, the, thing that I'm going to in St. Louis, I'm getting my own hotel room. So if you want to come with me.
Fancy.
I know.
I'll have to look and see when it is because I'm on call.
It's like a Wednesday,
point.
Thursday, Friday.
Well, I'm still.
Yeah.
I'll have to look.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I'm knitting on some new socks, and this cord is super tangly. It's a sock rocket, and I had never used it before because I bought it, and then size 1s disappeared out of my sock knitting arsenal.
So you're knitting sport on ones.
So I'm knitting Nomadic Knits. This is the Mrs. Weasley colorway, and I am digging it.
Yeah, I like it too.
It's making me super happy.
You're knitting top down.
I am, because these are for someone else.
Ah, that's right.
And there was a lot of discussion on the interwebs this week, on Twitter specifically, about sock construction. And Kate Atherley interviewed like over 500 knitters for her book on sock construction,
right,
and we
she
reviewed
has a very comprehensive book on sock construction.
Yes, and we reviewed her mitten construction book, which is very similar, a couple weeks ago, when it comes to the amount of measurements she got. And so her thing that she was discussing is like 90% of people, a top-down sock or a gusseted sock. Now, it doesn't have to be top-down, but a gusseted sock fits best. And because these are for other people, I want them to be the best fitting socks they can be. Also, there may be a Harry Potter Knit and Crochet House Cup about doing a technique that you haven't done for a while. And I haven't knit top-down socks since March. So, I am knitting these top-down.
What heel are you going to use?
I'm just going to use a heel flap.
No.
Slip on the purl side. Heel. I'm not doing anything like super fancy, and they're just going to be straight knitting. And this was 2 quarters of the Steelers game. So I'll have these to do, and I haven't even picked out my Desert Vista yarn for this month. So this is part of our unofficial Friends Don't Let Friends Hoard Self-Striping SS yarn.
Yeah.
Knit along. I
think we will get together and create a list of maybe do a calendar event next year for the group.
Yeah,
very unofficial. We're not, it's not going to be as big as like Stash Dash or Craft All of Things, but just a fun little cheering each other on.
Yeah. And also exploring new self-stripey people. Mm-hmm. Not for us, because we're knitting from our stash.
Also,
for other people.
We probably own 95%, well, at least one colorway from at least 95% of self-striping dyers.
I don't know, there's a lot of new ones out there that have some really exciting things, so... And thank you all for listing sport weight people. There were some sport weight people that I was not aware that they did sport weight, but also there was like Fiber Nymph I didn't realize has a sport weight. And we love Lisa. I've never knit her sport weight. I've knit with her worsted before. And her sock yarn, of course.
Yeah.
And then there were some people that I'd never heard of before, which is super cool. Mustache, the kit that comes out on Friday, has sport weight in it.
I'm not buying a kit.
I'm buying that kit. I think it's cool. It makes me happy.
Go for it. I'm not buying that
if
kit.
I can be, like, it's, so they only have 100 of them.
Yeah.
And it's at noon, which is when I have a class. So it's probably not going to happen. But I can dream.
Laura has a way of making things happen.
I don't know. We'll see. This week with homecoming, it's crazy. We got pep rallies. It's just pure and utter chaos. But there haven't been fights this week, so that's been good. Anyway, and that's living in my Fat Squirrel Fibers sneaky ghost bag. Another sneaky ghost with a narrative. This one seems... Oh, he's stepping on him. Did you see? He's being stepped upon.
Aww.
He's being flat-tired.
I wonder if his little thing will slip off. And he'll just
it
be
looks
invisible.
like... Yeah, it looks like it is almost. Anyway. That is it for me for knitting for this week.
So what size are those socks going to be that you're knitting?
8.5s. 8.5s, I think. Or 8s. One or the other. I have 2 people that I need to knit socks for. So, yeah, SSK. Every year we do fundraising for the center.
The Starrett Bennett Center where we host it.
Because they do a lot of outreach programs and education programs and other things. And they are near and dear to our heart because there are some really nice people that work there. So we do a fundraiser for them every year. And did you ever hear from Melissa how much they made this year?
I haven't even asked. I will. I'll email her.
Okay. And so we do various prizes. Like some things are auto ins to SSK for the following year. And people buy tickets for $1 and then they can put them in the bag. So like auto in for SSK is a prize. And another prize is some hand spun from me. And then Leslie spins a ton. See, Leslie does all her stuff up front because she's smart.
Well, because I dislike being obligated to do things.
Yeah.
So I prefer to do things with joy and then have that joy go out into the universe by giving it away.
See, and I'm enjoying knitting this for someone else. So this year, and last year and the year before, I offered to hand knit socks for someone. Mm-hmm. And so we had I pulled 2 winners this year, and so both of them have tiny feet. Yes.
Tiny being 8.5.
Yeah. Compared to like some people in the past who have won have been like 11. Right. So it makes it go a lot faster. And these people were, although last year one of the winners was, I think they both were like 8s. No, I can't remember.
No, you had Amy of Ross Farms.
No, that was the year before.
Oh, okay.
That was the year I just did 1. Last year I had, whatchamacallit, from New Orleans. Anyway.
Anne.
Yeah.
Anne?
It was Anne. And then someone else, whose name now I can't forget. I've forgotten. But they had teeny tiny feet. And they both wanted, one just wanted like self-striping and one wanted a very easy pattern. Mm-hmm. Which was awesome. And these people are just like, we like bright colors. Just pick a dyer you like. Awesome. Makes it super easy. And this is one of my favorite new-ish dyers. She's not brand new. She's been around for a couple years. So Nomadic, and she does a ton of Harry Potter colorways, as well as other pop culture colorways. She's got a Game of Thrones colorway and some other stuff. And Leslie's also knitting out of some of her yarn. So
the only drawback to Nomadic is, and I don't really know that I would consider it a drawback, is that most of her stuff is dyed to order.
Yeah,
so
and it's a while wait.
It's like a month wait for
I think it's 5 to 6 weeks now at this point.
Well, I mean, that means she's successful and busy, and that's great, but it's not always easy to satisfy your gimme, I want it now kind of craving.
Because you're not going to be able to get it unless you buy it on a D-stash from someone else.
Yeah. And she may occasionally do.
She does some already dyed because there was some in her shop earlier. I may have been looking, because I'm enjoying this so much, I might have been looking at some other ones, but I did not purchase any, because that defeats the purpose of this cow.
Seriously.
So, and I looked in my stash, I have 4 other skeins of her Twisty Sport.
Just the Sport?
Yeah, just the Sport.
She also does a fingering weight.
Yep. She did several fingering weights, including a Blueface Luster one.
Oh, yeah, that's
And
right.
now this has become a commercial for Nomadic Knits, so that was not the intent. Anyway, so ones, I probably could go down, actually, to zeros with this.
Oh my god.
But
why would you? No, that's perfectly fine.
I think that's fine.
God, knitting sport on ones just makes me cringe. You and Amy Beth, man.
We're special snowflakes. And Malia goes down to like triple zeros for fingering weight.
Yeah, I think I would just stop knitting socks.
Well, your gauge is the same, so it doesn't really...
I just knit so tight that my fingers hurt if I went down any further, I think.
But we're the opposites, so when... If we had like a Freaky Friday type experience, like we could trade knitting habits for a week, that would be crazy.
And everything would be wrong. Like, I would knit on the even star and completely
We could like change
hose it.
like personalities too. That would be crazy too.
I don't want to like people. I like my little bubble of hate.
Aww.
This week especially has been a hard
You make
week.
it sound like you hate everyone,
Well,
and I know that's not true.
It's not necessarily true. I think it's more of a general disappointment with culture nowadays.
Okay. That's allowed.
All right.
2017's been rough, yo.
Yeah, it
in
has.
so many ways.
Especially this past week with the whole Vegas thing. It's been rough.
Because you know a lot of people.
I know a
who
lot of
work
people in
Vegas.
Vegas, although that's still not, I mean, I'm still not a person that was, firsthand affected, which I'm sure is even worse. But
yeah.
Anyhow, knitting. I do have some knitting. So the first thing is living in the Ravelry 2 million member bag.
Aww. From Row.
From Row. And this is Glamour Wrap by Kirsten Kapoor, and it was in Drop Dead Easy Knits. This is a little over 2 skeins worth. It's really quick and fun, and you do these yarn overs, and then 8 rows later you drop the yarn overs, or you drop that stitch where the yarn over was created and drop it down, and it creates that sort of wavy look. The only downside is that the yarn is a chain construction, so it's like a tube. And because it's knit at such a loose gauge that you can't really hide your ends. And these balls of yarn are only like 80 yards or something.
And how many yards is this total? Like
I didn't even look. 83 yards.
1,000? So you're going to have like...
I think it's somewhere in the 600
those.
range. But even so, that's like 8 skeins. So I'm using Louisa Harding Cashmere Aran in just the white color. And this is a merino microfiber cashmere blend. But because of the chain construction and the loose gauge, you can't really hide your ends, so I'm having to do Russian joins. Is that what they're called?
Where you unpick the yarn on both sides?
Yeah, the thing I did for the Kestrel.
I think that's Russian joints.
The top. I'm pretty sure it's Russian.
Yeah.
So
you're
that's what it's
unpicking
called.
the yarns on both sides.
Yeah, I'm like...
And then you're like sewing them together.
Into each other. I was going to show you the end, and then I started knitting and forgot that it's now... There's like 3 ends in here, but you can't see them because they're all hidden. Because it's sort of like gluing the ends together. Kind of. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm still knitting these on wooden hateful needles.
I was supposed to bring you needles.
Size 11 US, which are 8mm needles.
Leslie didn't come to my house this week.
Yeah.
I came to her house. We went apple picking.
We did, and I haven't touched a single one of those apples yet.
I ate a couple.
Oh.
They're crisp. These are Arkansas black apples. They're crisp, but they almost have like a chalky texture to them. I had some with like horseradish cheddar cheese, and that was okay. But I think I'm gonna make a pie. I think they're better baking apples.
I've found a couple of Instapot recipes for like pull apart cinnamon apple bread and
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
stuff like that. So I'm gonna try. I've got to get a couple of things from the store, and I have to make a pie according to Michael. So anyway, that's thing 1 that I'm working on, and thing 2 that I'm working on is a Gramps cardigan. I did not think to bring a picture of the pattern, but it's a little baby cardigan, and it's made to look like an old man cardigan.
And this is the one by Tin Can Knits.
This is by
Do you want me to
Tin
pull
Can
it up?
Knits.
I can pull it up while you talk.
Apparently my dog has decided he absolutely needs in here right now. Sorry if you can hear the scratching. So I'm using 2 colors of Woolmiza DK. They match the pattern display colors almost exactly. I didn't realize I had done that until I wound the yarn.
That's pretty.
So this is like a cocoa color, and this is the olive oil color. It's like oleo virginie or something. I don't know, but it's the olive oil. That's what it translates into. And then this is just a brown. It was a weird difference, so I can't remember what it's called.
Here you go, lady.
Oh, it's not the same colors.
I mean, that's just the first one that came up.
But so I'm knitting this for a friend of mine who's having a little boy. I am knitting the 0 to 6 month size, but I went up a needle size.
This, I think, was the original picture.
Oh, that's closer, but still. Yeah. It's just a simple cardigan with sort of a shawl roll collar.
Mm-hmm. And it's actually sized up to adult sizes.
Yes. And it's got pockets, because every baby needs pockets in their cardigan, because you just never know.
Pockets is... It's actually supposed to be knit in an Aran weight. No, worsted.
Worsted, yeah.
Okay. I think of Rios and Tanis Fiber Arts Green Label Aran and Sweater more as an Aran weight. And then the 2 Vintage is more of a worsted.
So it starts with a provisional cast on, and the way that I did that was with Jenny's Magic cast on. And then I put half of them on an Addy Clicks cable, and then just sort of rolled up the ends.
Idea.
So that I didn't have to worry with it. And as of yesterday afternoon, I had finally, well, I say finally, I haven't been working on it that long, but I've split for the sleeves. So I've taken the sleeves off.
Aww.
The yarn's on holders, and at this point, I'm just knitting straight down until the whole thing gets to about 10 inches. And I'm only like 5.5, 6 inches total. So it's a lot of back and forth knitting. So I'm knitting that on size 9 needle, 8 needles, 5 millimeters.
The pattern calls for 6s. I just...
Yeah, I always go up at least 1 needle size because I'm a tight knitter, but also because I wanted to add a little bit of size flexibility in it, I went up another size. So it's not going to match the measurements for the swatch in the pattern, but I don't care. It'll fit a baby, so it doesn't really matter.
At some point.
Yeah. And then I'm going to cast on for our friends striping thing. I'm going to cast on Twisty Sock in Nomadic Yarns. I was going to knit Mustache, but most of my mustache hasn't actually made it up to this room yet. It's in my bins in my bedroom. And I also didn't really feel like winding anything. So
Nomadic's great when you don't have time to wind something.
So this is Americana in the Twisty Sock, which is just a merino nylon blend. And I haven't cast it on yet. But I will start that this week and show you next week.
Excuse me.
That's all I got for works in progress.
Okay. I have 2 finished objects. I finished my Desert Vista Dye Works Witches socks, so that means 9 months of the 12 are complete. These are Afterthought heel, just knit on size 0s over 64 stitches from the toe up, and they are for me.
Do you have the color on both ends of the top?
Yes. But I also have black on one heel and not on the other, and I'm not certain how that happened. So I don't know. 2 rows difference apparently in my heels. Don't know. We were apple picking and then we went to this creepy general store.
We saw this sign that was like,
it's huge,
a gigantic billboard, like double the size of a regular billboard, saying, "Oh, come to this
world's
famous,
best burgers, world famous
general store." And we're like, we got time, why not? It was only like,
we're not doing anything right now.
7 or 8 miles out of the way, so we drove down and I think
it's
the
in
sign
Shelby Forest.
was bigger than the store.
Yeah, I believe that's true. And also, there were lots of dead animals. And the dead animals were wearing camo hats.
Irony.
And there were, like, empty wasp nests and stuff and, like, old cameras. And it was just... There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think the attempt was to be nostalgic, but I'm not certain it quite hit that chord.
It also, my onion rings were not world famous. They were frozen. You know the onion rings that you bite into and you can't, you're like, where is the onion in this?
Nah.
It's all batter. That's my onion rings. So, and I was scared to try other things. They did have a fried, did he ever eat his fried bologna sandwich?
I have no idea. Yeah, we picked Kobe up a fried bologna sandwich.
It could still be in his room.
It's probably not. I'm sure he ate it, but I'll have to check that now. Yeah, we brought my son back a fried bologna.
And then she's like, what toppings do you have? And then Weezy and I had a long discussion about how you make, like, if you get a fried bologna sandwich, there are no toppings that go on it.
I didn't think so. I thought it was just bologna, sometimes with cheese. If there's no cheese, you can put mustard on the bread.
I don't know about that, but it has to be like the 25-cent like white bread. Like that's
the
like you can't
bread,
have you can't have real bread. Like it's got to be like white bread that would last an apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like, and you get on wheat too. Poor Kobe.
Yeah. Such a terrible mom.
That is not how we make fried bologna sandwiches.
I don't even know if he's ever had white bread, honestly.
And really? And Weezy had a discussion about, like, the crispiness of the bologna, like, how, kind of like some people like their hot dogs burnt.
Yeah.
Like, how crispy do you get it? And he said one of his friends, I think, toasts the bread, and he's like, nope, that's not how we do this. We're very specific in the Linneman household about items that I don't eat, apparently. But that was, like, Weezy would make that for us when, like, my mom was out of town.
Yeah.
Because that was, like, a mom is out of town.
Put the bologna in there, you cut the slits in it.
Yeah.
You put it on the bread.
Yep. Mama's gone when she would go to like Convergence and stuff like that. I also made a little owl because one of the Harry Potter house cut props was a stuffy. It was actually something you could throw at someone, and you got bonus points if it was a stuffy. And I had like 2 hours before midnight when stuff was due, and I was like, I can totally crank out a stuffy and get a couple more points because
competitive.
So this is my little owl. He was knit using hand spun. So this is old hand spun down here and old hand spun up here, and he is an owl puff. I think Jenna Kapoor's pattern. And then I did that lovely embroidery out of hand spun.
That is world famous.
And his eyes are slightly askew because they kept popping out.
And at the end, you're just like, just go in there.
Yeah, just get in there. And then I was afraid I had overstuffed it, and I think if I might like add little like fringes on his ear points.
Oh, like little tassel, like
yeah. I don't know that would make it better.
Little feathers.
He's a little sad owl.
5, 6, 7.
They got me my 7th class, so I don't know. He's just cute. He'll be alright. So that is my owl puff. Those are my 2 finished items. Do you have any finished items?
I do. I can't remember if I'm supposed to drop this on this row or the next row. I think it's the next row. I took a picture of the pattern with my phone because I didn't want to carry a book around with me.
No, I think that's legitimate.
And I'm only keeping it for myself. I'm not sharing it, so I'm not violating copyright, so get off me.
I don't think anyone was getting on you.
So I embroidered some pillowcases for a friend of mine, and they'll go off as holiday gifts. And I went to Target. I found the softest pillowcases I could find. These are things I wouldn't buy for myself, but gifts are different.
Yes.
And then I got pearl cotton in a size 5 from Joann's. And then I just found a font that I liked on Google Docs and printed these out. Printed out the words big and then used a light board to put underneath them and traced it. So this one is Collect Moments, Not Things. And then I'm trying to keep them like relatively pet hair free. They just came out of the dryer. And this is the second one. A good laugh and a long sleep are the two best cures for anything. So I did embroider a little tight. You can see that it's puckering a little bit around the letters, which if I look at it too long will irk me. So the way that I resolve that, by not looking at it and sending it off. And not because I think it's okay to give away things that look like crap.
I don't think that looks like crap, though.
I think it's imperfect, and so am I.
There you go.
So, these will go off as a gift. And I think I'm going to embroider a few other things as gifts, because they're not quite as time-intensive or, like, restrictive when it comes to sizing as knit items are. And I can embroider without making my little dry skin patch on my finger worse. Makes me crazy. I keep putting moisturizer and
different types of stuff.
Yeah. And it's not getting worse, but it's not getting a whole lot better. So anyway,
just let it chill.
Let's see. That's all I've got.
Okay, I do have so I did finish my mashup spin, but I left it drying. That whole out of sight, out of mind. It's drying in my guest bathroom, and I totally forgot about it because I never go in there.
Yeah.
Leslie's the only person who really goes in there.
I get escorted by Pearl to the bathroom whenever I have to go.
And she waits outside the door for you, which she does not do for me. Because when I first got her, before we got a crate, like the first 2 days, she was locked in that bathroom when I left.
She won't go in there.
So she won't go in there anymore, which kind of screws me in case of like a tornado. She's like, nope. So I have to like physically drag her in there because that's my safe spot in my house.
It's the most centermost.
It is, but it's also like the biggest centermost room. Like I have a very small, tiny bathroom that myself, Pearl, and the cat could not fit into. So it is. Although Pearl likes her closet, and she could probably go in there, but she'd be by herself, and that would stress me out. Anyway, I did spin something else because I want to knit up one of those pumpkin hats for one of my
yeah, that's a pretty good
pregnant coworkers.
Color option. What is that color?
Okay. So we had a bag of bits and bobs that was left over that was so Two Guys Yarn Company for the last 2 years has donated all the fiber that's used with the spinning wheels in the tasting room.
Oh yeah.
They're super, super cool. So there was a bag of like fiber that people would like basically shred it.
Yeah.
But it was still kind of usable. So this is actually like 3 different colorways in there. See that like yellowish?
Yeah, that greenish is right on the rocks because I've got some of that.
Yeah, so like that's in there. And then there's this orange and like a peach. So together it works really well.
Yeah.
It actually gives it some depth. I think that like...
Yeah, I think it's a good pumpkin color.
So, I mean, it's a pumpkin with some bad spots. But I think it'll be good for a pumpkin hat. And there were bits and pieces of green in there too. So I'm going to do the same with the green because all I'll need is like the stem.
Yeah.
So it's going to work out perfect, I think. It's 53 yards, which is like the perfect amount for a baby hat too. So, yay! This will be knit up this month because my super pregnant coworker is due November 1st or 2nd.
So she's not pregnant, she's super pregnant.
She is. She's itty bitty, so she looks like she's about to pop. But she's really sweet. So I found a box of books in a closet in my building that it was like 3 boxes, and it was someone's classroom library who retired years ago. But books don't go bad, and there were some good choices in there, some good selections, like Lightning Thief was in there and some other stuff. So I divided them amongst our 6 new teachers, 6 new English teachers, so that they could have some books for our classroom library. So they each got around 30 books. And she wrote me like a thank you the next day and hand delivered it, like left it on my computer for me, which was really, really sweet. She's the only person who's
It's an uncommon thing.
It is uncommon. I got 2 thank you cards from coworkers last week, which was really, really cool. And really sweet. So obviously she's knit worthy then.
Yeah.
So she's going to get something better than just like a hat. She'll probably get like 4 hats.
Does she know the sex of the baby?
Yes, it's a baby girl. And I didn't want to, like, because she's new, so she doesn't know that I knit.
Oh,
I don't think. Well, like, she's probably seen me knit in staff meetings, but she doesn't know the craziness that is my baby knitting habits. So there's no, like, expectation there. So I think it's just going to be a surprise. A random surprise. Maybe I'll work on that some this week, too. Now I have lots of things to work on this week.
That's why it always...
I'm glad I'm not doing Spinzilla. And that I wish I was doing Spinzilla, because I would be spinning. But it really worked out for the best that I was not doing Spinzilla, because I would have, like, 20 yards done. And that would be it.
You are already overcommitted.
Yes. And that's why, like, some of our friends had teams. That's why I did not sign up for a team. Although I love the idea of Spinzilla, it also stresses me out a lot, and I feel like I need to take off work for it, and that's not a feasible, practical thing at all. But I kind of want to spin at work.
Yeah.
It's been a stressful week. I think my life would be better if I could spin at work. Maybe I'll take your pocket wheel.
There you go. Under the desk, nobody will see.
No one would see it. I cleaned off my desk, though, so people can actually see into my... So it used to be, like, stacks of books that, like, people couldn't see what my hands were doing. There was just the assumption that I was reading and not playing on my phone.
Or knitting.
Well, I don't really knit. And I don't play on my phone a whole lot. Like, sometimes when I get a lunch... It doesn't happen very often. But I want to go back in my office, and I want to sit, and I want to look at Instagram on my phone. In the 10 minutes between children asking me for help. Like, I can't pack, like, an actual lunch for work. I could tomorrow.
Can't?
Well, I never get to eat it. Like, and I can't leave the library to go, like, heat it up or anything, really. I could, but there'd be, like, a dozen kids waiting on me when I get back. So, I do a lot of, like, kind bars and stuff like that. Stuff that I can grab and go. That I can shove in my mouth. As I'm like, type in your number.
Yeah.
So, anyway, welcome to the sob story that is my life.
I don't know. I think teachers in general have it rough, so.
That's the one thing about teaching that I wish, like, a lot of businesses or places give you, like, a lunch. Like, it might be unpaid, but you get time to leave and purchase food. If you are needing to. Or just leave.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, even retail, when I worked retail, like, we had to clock out for 30 minutes. But whatever we did in that 30 minutes, we did.
Yeah.
And when I worked in the mall, it was mostly shopping.
I would never bring home a paycheck.
I did not when I worked at Victoria's Secrets. There was very few times that I actually brought home a paycheck because I got discounts at all their, like, sister stores too. So.
Okay. So we talked about Laura spinning. So books. I finished Children of Time, and I think that we got the funniest comment ever about our reading because someone commented that they were listening to us talk about our books and they heard me mention sentient spiders and they're like, nope, nope, so much nope. Which I respect that. That's
how I feel about that too.
So Children of Time is a science fiction, sort of kind of post-apocalyptic, but you don't really hear a lot about that. It's a, Ark ship with the last of human civilization looking for a new place to park, and the species that they encounter along the way. And it's really well done. And Joanna Spring, who is a lovely person and has a farm out in Indiana and makes bats and bags and stuff.
And she used to have a podcast, which is definitely worth taking a look at. I mean, there's only a limited number.
Yeah, if it's still out there in the ether, I don't know. But she's not doing it anymore. But I know I miss it because I adore Joanna. But
I agree with that.
She had some really interesting things to say about the book as well. It's much more literary than what I typically read, because I typically kind of read junk. Well, not junk, but stuff that's unlikely to get nominated for awards.
Brain breaks.
Yes. And this was definitely more of a literary book. And I'm glad I read it, and the author did a great job sort of bringing current societal problems into an interesting new perspective, and humanity in general. So I recommend it if you're into that sort of thing. It's not a fluff book, and I listened rather than read it, which I think gave something extra to it, because I don't know that I would have given the spiders the same voices that the narrator did, but she did a very good job.
So do you listen to... So Audible has typically around like a 5-minute...
I never listen to the samples.
Oh, okay. I listen to samples before I buy all the time.
I don't anymore. I used to, but because they have that return guarantee, you can return any book anytime for any reason. You just have to go click on your library, and then there's a little link under there above your books that say, didn't like your last book, you can return it. And I've returned, like, I keep thinking that I'm going to return it, and they're going to be like, look, you really got to stop this. Because I've returned probably a dozen over the course of the last year. But of course, I also buy a lot. It is very unusual that a month goes by that I don't buy the 3 extra credits.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
you're going through like 4 audiobooks a month?
Yeah.
Did you look at their sale that they're having on children's books right now?
I didn't, because I don't typically
you read YA stuff.
I do, but I haven't, but I'll go and look. Because I do like that if they ever have a sale and you have anything in your wish list that happens to be in the sale, it's very noticeable. They're like, hey, this is in your wish list and it's in the sale. Do you want it? So
they have a children's book sale going on, and it is very... What I like about it, and I bought... Okay, so let me back up. Audible last week had you have tons of credits. If you spend 3 of them, we will give you $10.
I never get that.
Because you don't hoard credits like I do. Because I have like 10 credits.
But they should like reward me. Hey, you buy credits all the time. Here's a free credit.
Well, here's the deal. Like in, when was that? June, it was like, hey, you haven't been with us for a while. Like I had taken an Audible break because I've been listening to like library books. You haven't purchased any credits in like over a year. You haven't spent any credits in over a year either. Like my account was at a status quo. If you buy 12 credits, we'll give them to you for like $75.
Oh.
And so that was a great deal. So I bought the 12 credits. Maybe it was like $100. I don't know. But it was like substantially lower than $14.95 a month.
Yeah.
So I splurged and I got those credits. And then I spent 1 on an Alana Andrews book. And then they've been sitting there. So I had like 11.
Yeah.
And so they were like, hey, if you spend 3 of your credits this week, in the next 2 days, we will give you $10. A $10 coupon. So I looked, and they have this awesome children's book sale, and it had a lot of like things that have been nominated for Newberries, but also like newer stuff that just came out.
Yeah.
Like Jennifer Nielsen's new one was on there, the Scourge. Yeah, the Scourge. And some Jason Reynolds, who I love, and very diverse. So not just fantasy, it was all the Goosebumps books are on there. There's a ton of like series too. So, but there were a bunch that like The Thing About Jellyfish, which I've been wanting to read for a while, but it's a little bit sad. It's about a girl whose best friend dies in a drowning, and I
feel like your book reviews are always sad.
Okay. So, today, they're like, hey, your $10 is there. So I got 3 books for $1.
Well,
3 kids' books for $1, which I thought was an amazing deal.
Yeah.
It was like $1.98 or something. So now I have lots of things to listen to. I got The Scourge by Jennifer Nielsen. I got a Jason Reynolds book. And then I was thinking about Wild Robot, but I didn't get that. But it was funny. So I was shopping on my work computer, and that work computer has speakers, because when I check in books, if there's an issue or a book comes in and it's like on hold for someone else, it makes this noise. Mm-hmm. So I know right away to pull it. So the volume's up pretty large because I have a wireless scanner, so I can be over here and scan it anyway. And I was listening to the samples, and my kids were like, my library helpers are like, don't get that one. That one's terrible. Like the voices.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I agree. We are passing. I can't remember which one it was. It's a book about how a letter changed 2 people's lives. like a letter from Pennsylvania maybe, to Africa. And anyway, so the narrator on that had kind of a squeaky voice, and I don't like squeaky voices, especially in book narrations. That's a long, blown-out way of saying that Audible's got a lot of kids' books on sale for $3.95 each. It's definitely worth checking out if you have kids or enjoy listening to children's books. I am currently reading Magnus Chase, which is not sad. Oh, because you've got like 500 books. Okay, keep going.
There are 3 things listed.
Keep going. Keep going with your multitude of books and reading.
So I'm currently listening to Shrill by Lindy West. She is a well-known body positive fat activist. And I wasn't sure. I thought this one I might end up returning, but I actually like it quite a lot. She's very approachable and funny and not condescending, which I feel like happens in like memoir type books sometimes.
Yeah.
But
you shall learn from all the things that I have done wrong.
Yes. Yeah. I am so wise because I have experienced life. I like it. It's she definitely has her viewpoint, and but she is fair to those with other viewpoints. So I'm listening to that, and it's read by the author. And I finished Paradox Bound by Peter Klein. So this is the author who wrote the whole X-Heroes series. He wrote 14, which is one of my all-time favorite science fiction books. He wrote The Fold, which is another very good one. And he's written some other short stories. Probably other novels. I can't remember, though. So I had really high hopes for this, possibly too high, because as we've talked about before, when it comes to books, we each have our own like list of things that if the book has these things, we usually don't read it.
The phrase "keep calm and carry on" more than once.
For me, it's ghosts and time travel, and I think there was one more, but ghosts and time travel are like big pet peeves for me.
Whiny female protagonists that want other people to save them.
Or whiny female protagonists who, upon the first time they're intimate with the male lead, their entire life is now complete.
Yeah.
I really hate that. But, this book did not have ghosts, but it had... They called it history travel versus time travel.
It's like the same thing.
And... it's restrictive in weird ways, and the characters are interesting because Peter writes great characters, but I felt like it was just okay, and that's kind of sucked because I really wanted to love it because I really love a lot of his books.
Alana Andrews was talking about that on Twitter the other day, and she's
really?
like, I feel like people are setting, because it's the last Kate Daniels book.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, I think people are setting this up really, really high.
Yeah.
It's my worry that I'm not going to meet expectations.
I think it's good that she's closing the series out. Like, you can't forever talk about the same people. Like,
that's true.
They are eventually going to run out of interesting things to happen to them.
I don't know. Jenna Ivanovich has had, 24
I've never read those books, so I
love those books. They're such fluff. Yeah.
But anyway, if you're on the fence about Paradox Bound, it's worth reading, but I'm not going to also get the audio version, which I have for every other one of his books. So it was just okay for me. But that's also because I have a pet peeve about time travel. So
everyone has their own thing.
Laura's got books. I've got to roll this down so you can actually
No, I just have
it.
one book. I am reading the second Magnus Chase book, which is interesting. Rick Riordan is the author of The Lightning Thief, and this is another series by him that has to do with Norse mythology, but it also has some characters from his other books that make an appearance. This book has a gender fluid character, which I've never read about in a book before, which is really interesting. So they are the prodigy of Loki, which makes sense because Loki in Norse mythology often switches between male and female, and is gender fluid, so it works well with the book.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see some more diversity in characters.
Yeah, especially by well-known
Oh, yeah.
authors.
And, like, one of the... How do you say that word? Like, Valkyrie? Valkyrie is actually Muslim in the book as well. So there's a lot of diversity going on, which I am enjoying. It's a big book. His books have gotten progressively bigger. I want to say it's probably 500 pages. And the third just came out yesterday, which I've been meaning to read this one since it came out last October, maybe.
That's the way it goes
But
sometimes.
the third one just came out, so that kind of like kicked me in gear. So I need to purchase that. I might buy that tonight. My kids have been asking about it. It's been out a day. So I might go to Walmart and use my own money and purchase that tonight, so that we've got it in the library. But I'm going to hoard it and read it first before because
Well, you have to be able to speak intelligently about it.
I do, but also they can wait.
I'm giving you justification.
If I'm buying it with my own money, they can wait until I'm done reading it. But that does mean, since I'm off this weekend, that I should read it a little bit quicker. Actually, no. I'm going to purchase it and donate it to the library because I'm on the public library's wait list for the audio. So, I'm like 75th in line or something.
It'll come eventually.
It'll come eventually, and that'll be fun. So I'll do that tonight, so it's taken care of, and then I won't be harassed daily about it.
Okay.
Because there's nothing teenagers do better than... You have a teenager.
I do. I called him earlier when I got home from work, which was like a minute and a half before Laura got to my house, because I plan well, apparently. And I called him because his room is upstairs, and downstairs is where I came in, because that's logic, right? And so I called him, and he came out of his room, "What?" And I was like, "Oh my God, you've got to go back in your room and come back out, because I'm going to lose my mind all over your face if you do not chill the hell out."
Teenagers.
So much fun. I told Alan, a friend of mine who I'm training, he's my husband's best friend, who I'm training because he's now
He's got a teenage girl, which is
same
even
team
more fun.
as me, yes, at work. But what's even better is that he's got 4 other kids who for 2 years will all be teenagers.
All 5 of them?
All 4 of the others.
Oh.
For 2 years will all be teenagers, and then the oldest one
will turn
into
20.
into her 20s, and then there will be 3 more years where we'll have 3 that are
but
teenagers.
they're all boys except
the
for
others,
one.
yeah. The oldest
is
a girl, and then the other 3 are boys. And that's even worse.
Oh, man.
The house is gonna stink.
Oh, it's gonna smell so bad.
Anyway.
That boy sweat funk.
I don't even know what it is.
When the boys come up from football. The worst. We actually moved football to the end of the day this year. So, like, 8th grade football's last period and 7th grade football is, like, the second to last period, because no one wants to smell that for the entire
I'm sure they
day.
don't want to smell it. I mean...
I don't know that you can smell yourself like that, though, when you have boy funk. Anyway.
So, we have Stash Dash prizes, but before we do that, we do have some prizes for the Halloween craft, all the things that Laura's going to show.
Yeah,
because they all come to her.
They did all come to me. So, we had a bunch of prizes donated. I showed you guys the stitch markers from Lady Juju last week, but I'm going to show them again. This is from Lady Juju Crafts. There's a cool Frankenstein. Let me flip him around. Can I flip him around? Come on, Frankie. Maybe I'll show her. Hold on. I'm going to take him out of the bag.
Sorry.
And they all have the little clip. I think the earring clip. So there's a Frankenstein, and then there's a candy corn, and there's a Swarovski, however you say that word.
Swarovski?
There we go, crystal Christmas tree. So those are by Lady Juju Crafts. And then Joanne of Knit Spin Farm sent some roving.
Oh, pretty.
So this is a superwash Targhee in the dusk colorway. And if you don't spin and you win this, I will spin it for you. How about that?
That's cool. I like spinning Targi.
Or you can spin it if you want.
If I spin it, it's going to be bulky, like thick and thin. Or not thick and thin, but like worsted or heavier. I'll be happy to do it.
Okay.
But forewarning.
If you win, you get to pick who spins it.
Yeah.
How about that? The loser has to buy the winner ice cream. And then
so really both wins.
Yeah, I know. Staycation Soap sent 2 of her really, really pretty soaps. They're packaged, so you can't see this, but they're almost like an autumn rainbow. Can you see, kind of? Maybe not.
Not really.
If you go to her website, which is Staycation Soap Co., it's staycationsoap.com. So there's 2. So they smell so good, of the Autumn Stroll. And then there's 2 of the Pumpkin Spice Latte. And I can take those out a little bit. They also smell good. I might need to be...
Oh, that actually smells pretty. It's not. Yeah. It's not too strong.
Yeah, I might need to be purchasing some soap from her. So we have 4 bars of soap from that. So we have a total of 6 prizes right now. So yay! That's for the Halloween Craft All the Things, which is a continual contest we have going on. Basically, if you can sell it as Falloween in any kind of way, then you can be entered to win a prize. And all the details for that are on our Ravelry board. For Stash Dash prizes, Jean Celine Yarns donated one of her patterns and a skein of her yarn. So she was really kind. She's actually the only person who donated a prize for that. The rest are coming out of our random prize bin that we've collected throughout the year. So it's really sweet. And if you win, you need to contact her. I'll relay your information to her as well, because she's actually going to ship you one of her gorgeous skeins of yarn and a pattern. So her information is linked in our show notes if you want to check her out. Staycation Yarn, or Staycation Soap, did give us a coupon code, and I'm going to add that to the
show notes.
It is for 15% off any orders made on her website from now until October 31st.
How do they use
there is
it?
not a code.
Oh, we'll have to contact her for the code.
Yeah. Or you can just add a little note maybe at the bottom of your order.
Yeah, we'll just have to
we'll contact her
for a code.
For sure.
Because she set it up and then just forgot to tell us what it was, I think.
Woolly Wormhead did send out a free pattern this week, and mine didn't have a code, so I had to contact her. It was a little blip in the mail serve thing. So it happens.
Yep.
So we are going to do Stash Dash prizes.
I've got 2 more stitches on this row. There we go.
Thank you so much, everyone who participated in Stash Dash. We had a ton of participants.
Yes, and then
at all levels, which was lots of fun, because I wasn't certain about adding some of the levels this year.
Yeah, even the highest one had a lot. I mean, I did... which ones did I do? I did the 3, 5... No, I did 5K and 5, 7, and 10. Laura did 1, 3, and 15. Which I'm pretty sure the 1 and 3 had more than everything else. Because that's a very achievable goal. That not crazy people do.
But there are some people that posted... I think there was someone who posted in the 3 or 5 that actually hit 15 or 20.
19.
Yeah, Swiss Hughes actually got 19K, and she had posted in the 3K.
Wow. So we've got these, we can show this.
No,
there's no reason we can't. So let me add a window capture.
So what we do is we go through, and everyone who's successfully met their goal and posted correctly in the group is entered into a spreadsheet. And Leslie and I also gift random patterns to people whose projects we find super inspiring as we go. So
sorry.
We create these spreadsheets, and then we're going to random number generate some prizes from the different levels off the spreadsheet. So probably one skein of Volmisa per level.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. And then we'll do maybe the one that's got the most people. Maybe we'll do the Gen.
Yeah. I don't know why that's not cooperating. Big black window. Alright, let's add window capture. We're going to do the Google sheet. I have to name it, sorry. And it's going to be the inner window. But why isn't it? Alright, well, sorry, we thought we could. I don't know why it's being uncooperative. Let me delete the ones we're not using and try that. And I'll just talk through it so you don't even really notice that you're sitting here listening to me talk. Alright, let's try that. Nope, sorry. Alright, well, sorry, we tried to make it so that you could see, but in the interest of not keeping you here held captive.
For forever. We're just going to pull up number...
Why don't you use your phone generator and do random number, and then I'll look it up. So, we had 6 different levels this year. 1K, 3K, 5K, 7K, 10K, and 15K. And even up at the 15K mark, we still had like over 20 people who hit that. And like Laura said, I probably spent $100 in patterns when I was going through and checking all the posts, because I would see something that would be so inspiring, and so I would go to that person's wish list and
you should
pick
always
a pattern.
have patterns on your wish
there
list.
were 4 people that I couldn't give anything to because they had no wish list, and no. Sometimes if you don't have a wish list, I'll go into your favorites and look and see if you favored anything in the last week, and then try to gift you one of those patterns.
Because Ravelry will automatically let us gift it. Yeah.
Well, it'll still let you gift it, but it'll tell you, hey, this person already has this. Do you still want to gift it to them?
Yeah.
So they do let you know, which is nice because Ravelry's amazing. So stash dash for the 1K limit, we had 46 people.
So I'm going to do a number between 1 and 46.
And let me pick something out. So we're going to start with We're Different in Baristo. This is Volmisa in the 100%. So it's 100. Oof, it's got little bits of white from when my husband decided he needed to drill into the wall, and it's got a little speckle of plaster dust, but I promise it's nothing bad. So this is Baristo, and what is our number?
It is going to 17.
17 is SJH801. So I'm going to color you in, and you're going to be Volmisa in Baristo.
Perfect.
So SJH801, please send me a PM, I guess, with your address. And I'll get it all categorized. I will make an effort to check my PMs for the next little while. Alright, so next we're going to do 3K.
3K.
And we had, we
worked hard.
94 people in the 3K. And the prize for the 3K is another 100%. This one is another We're Different, and it's in the...
You have to try to read through the labels on the We're
No,
Different.
it's...
Oh, she wrote it.
Versushkanishin. I think it's a guinea pig or something. It looks kind of like a Campari orange, but maybe with a little bit more of this, like...
orangey.
Yeah, like olive-ish, yellowy. Anyway.
Right, and that's going to go to 38.
38 is... Skazala.
And she's post 87.
Skazula.
Skazyla.
For some reason, my brain will not make that into a sound. Sorry. We're different. Campari-ish color. I have to make a note, otherwise I will never remember who won what, because my memory is
All right, so 5K.
Laura's like, let's get on with this.
I'm just saying what everyone's thinking.
This one is the Sammy.
Oh, yeah, that's Sammy.
This wasn't originally a color for her
club. When she did a club once.
I think it was the last color in the club. She only had 4 shipments.
So 4 or 3?
I'm thinking it was 4.
Okay.
So this is for the 5K level, and we have 72 people in the 5K level. And again, this is for the Sammy. This is 100%.
It's going to number 62.
62 is Pattern Whisperer.
Oh, we know her. She posts all the time.
So
Good.
this one is going to Woolmiza Sammy.
Perfect.
And let's get the next one. This is a We're Different in the Suzanne. I could tell you that even without looking at the label. Because
Suzanne's like the one color that I can never get.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Now I've got sewing threads all over it. I'll make sure it gets to you clean. So this is going to someone in our 7K thread. And there were 52 people
52?
in our 7K thread.
Okay.
And so it's between 1 and 52.
27.
27 is Minnie Nitty.
I think I know her too.
So, Minnie Nitty, you can contact me on Ravelry. We're going to do Woolmiza, We're Different, Suzanne. Next up, we have 10K. And that one is going to be this Gonzalez. Whew. Threads, that's all this is. I promise it's not bugs or anything. So, this is Woolmiza, the twin. So, this is an 80-20 in the Gonzalez colorway.
Did you give me a number?
No, I didn't. It's between 1 and 40. And I made notes on some of these people. Like, some people knit, like, all the charity stuff. Hats. One lady knit 81 scarves for charity.
Wow. This is going to go to 31.
31 is Hooking Litter. Is that right?
Hooking Litter?
Let me click this, because I linked them. Just want to make sure.
Leslie is more professional.
Hook in Glitter.
Hook in, like hook
in glitter.
Glitter.
I don't know what I typed.
No, you.
Oh, I did.
You did. It just kind of.
Hooking Litter is what I read instead of Hook in Glitter. Okay, so we're going to do the Woolmiza in the Gonzalez. And then for the 15K, we're going to do, let's see. Oh, this is one of my favorite colors ever.
Oh.
This was for the first Spring Fling. This was the colorway that debuted there.
2 of those.
This is
I need to knit something on that.
D'Alster.
That's pretty. Mine has less of the yellow to it.
Yeah, mine
it's more
have
bluish.
a little darker than this one. But this is D'Alster in the 100% superwash. And this is between numbers 1 and 22.
19.
19 is Blue and White Cat.
Oh, cool.
Is that right? Let me click it just to make sure.
Yep.
Yep. Blue.
Out of Norway.
Irene.
Very cool.
Blue and White Cat. Why does that sound familiar? Okay. Well, congratulations, Irene. You win the D'Alster. So we'll just want you to contact me, and I will get this out to you.
All right. And then 3K, I think, had the most people that finished.
So this is 22, 40... 52, 72. Yeah, I think you're right. 94.
Doubt me, but I am.
So the number we're drawing now is for the prize from Jean Shalene Yarns, and we'll pass your information on to her. And
that's 85.
85 is Pepper. Pepper.
It's nice to see some different people.
I think.
Yeah.
Pepper RN.
It's nice to see some people that we haven't seen before.
Pam from Indiana, who has been knitting for 45 years, but she took a break in the middle. I love that.
One mean cat, one super friendly dog. She's a psych nurse.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So let me make a note. This is the Jean Shalene Yarns winner.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for participating in Stash Ash. We had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, we do every year. Too. Yeah, it's never we never do it for the prizes because getting stuff out of our house is always a prize.
Yeah.
Although there were a few truly epic, like I think one woman got rid of almost 6,000 yards with a blanket.
That's amazing.
Like a ton, and I gifted her a pattern. I was like I'm
You're
not
amazing,
worthy.
yeah.
that is some excellent planning. But that's it. That's all I got, and I have nothing witty to say. Sorry.
Okay. Well, we will see y'all next week, which will be here soon.
Yep.
In the meantime, y'all have a good week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.